Don't forget to check out our new giveaway. Samy's camera is giving away $500 gift certificate. Check it out at the end of the video. Today on the Slanted Lens, we're still in Midway, Utah, shooting in what little snow they have left here in Utah. You know, we started out with no snow falling at all, but by the end of the day, we had some really wet, heavy snow coming down. It's pretty hard to keep the cameras dry and keep shooting in this situation. Keeping the cameras dry is not the only issue you've got when you're shooting with snow. We're going to take a look at how the meter in your camera works and how you can use it to take pictures in the snow. We're going to look at how to make a correct exposure to the snow and then how to light our mountain man and wife using strobes and ambient light mixed. The in-camera meter wants to make everything 18% gray. So when you point your camera at a predominantly white scene, the camera, when it says it's a correct exposure, is going to be very dark. The white scene fools the camera meter. Here's a white reflector in direct sun. The meter says this is a correct exposure and makes the white reflector 18% gray. The background is very dark. When I open up and overexpose a scene, according to the meter in the camera, by 1 1/3 stops, the white reflector starts to become white and the background becomes more correctly exposed. When I open up 2 stops, the white reflector finally becomes white and we can see the background much better. So when a scene is mostly white, like snow or sand or just a big white wall, you get an exposure like this. It's very dark. When I show an overexposure in my camera by 1 1/3 to 2 stops, I finally get a correct exposure for a scene that's predominantly white. So let's see how this relates to our mountain man shoot we did in the snow. The first thing I'm going to decide when I go on a shoot generally when I'm outside is what's my ambient reading. How's that going to affect my exposure? I'm going to set my aperture that I'm going to set fairly shallow, about f4.5. I'm then going to decide my shutter speed that'll work with my strobes to give me a correct exposure reading. When I did this, the camera tells me that this image here was a correct exposed image. As you can see, it's very dark. The camera's being fooled by the whiteness of the scene. It's telling me that this is a correctly exposed image when it's really about a stop and a half too dark. Here's our image when we open up about a stop and 2/3. This is a much better ambient reading. You know, I'm going to go into meters and why a handheld meter really gives you a much more true picture of the scene, but I'll do that in a future lesson. But just know that handheld meters can be much more reliable than your in-camera meter when it comes to these kind of very bright, light, white situations. Let's move on now and see how we lit our mountain man. Here's our first shot with just the ambient light. Now remember, my in-camera meter is telling me that this is about a stop and 2/3 too bright. But because of the white smoke and all the white we have in the scene, I've opened up a stop and 2/3 from what my meter in the camera is telling me, which is giving me a correct ambient exposure. We're using a Dynalite 400 watt pack with an octadome with a grid. This is coming in from the camera right side. Here's our image adding our key light. This gives us a really nice side light on his face when he is turned to the right and a nice split light when he looks at the camera. The light is just brighter than the ambient by about 2/3 of a stop, so it blends well but gives us a little nice highlight on his face. I'm going to add a Dynalite travel head now as a backlight. Nothing fancy, it's just an open face head that's meant to light the smoke that's coming from a Roscoe smoker. Roscoe's coming out with a whole new line of smokers that will be perfect for those of us who shoot stills. Look for us to review those in the future. There's some great things coming with regards to smokers. They're also coming out with a fogger, which I cannot wait to use and show you the advantage of a fogger in some situations over a smoke machine. You know, I do love smoke, you know that. It simplifies the background and creates a lot of separation for our subject. Here's a great example. The smoke is just right and allows us to kind of remove the background in this white kind of wash, but it gives us a nice standout for our talent up front. It's hard to get the smoke perfect like this. You really have to fight it when it's outside because of the wind and the things you're working against. A lot of fanning that smoke as it comes out to be able to break it up, to be able to cover your scene. Here's another example of how the smoke cleans up the background and allows our subject to stand out. So here's some of the images that we shot before we've done any post work or editing. I put a plastic cover on my camera to keep the wet snow off my camera. You know, we were in deep snow as we got up here into this area and we needed snowshoes to get around. Luckily, Sarah, who's helping us, she had several sets in her car. That was a lifesaver. Who keeps several sets of snowshoes in your car? Only people who live in Utah. We're still using our same octadome with a grid, that 400 watt Dynalite pack with a head. We're also using the XP800 battery pack for our power. The Photoflex octadome was getting just wet. I just kept shooting, and that night laid it out to dry. It dried just fine, ready to shoot the next day. Here's our first shot with just the ambient light. It needs something on his face, it's pretty dark. The octadome from camera left gave us just enough light on his face to work. It was snowing and we were getting wet. There wasn't much time for this shot, so we just kept pushing ahead. Here are some of the images that we shot in this second setup. You know, nothing's been edited or retouched, it's just the raw footage. For editing, I took the images into Nik Color Effects Pro and worked on them. I did several things. I used a bleach bypass, kind of bleached some of the color out of them, and then I would kind of just dial that layer back and forth until I liked the amount of color that was there and used that as my final image. I wanted them to have a bleached, kind of old-fashioned look, kind of fit with the Mountain Man theme. This was a great shoot. It got a bit wet by the end, but things worked out well. This is just some of the first work we're going to do to help us understand our meters better. There's more to come on that subject. We'll talk about handheld meters and in-camera meters more extensively in a future lesson. So keep those cameras rolling and keep on clicking. We're offering a free download that was put together by our team, Adelaide Lauren and Hector Olguin. It's sponsored by Squarespace, but it's a great free download on how to design your web page, your landing page, so it'll bring people in and convert them into clients. It's called the 7 Steps to a Landing Page That Sells. So go to theslanted_lens/7 steps and download this free download. It really is a great download that will teach you the things you need to do to set up a web page that shows your great photography but converts the people that come there into clients that want to hire you. It's the 7 Steps to a Landing Page That Sells. Free download sponsored by Squarespace. Check it out on theslanted_lens/7 steps. Our new giveaway is a $500 gift certificate from Samy's Camera. Samy's is a great camera store. I have used them my entire career, literally my entire career. They've been a great place for me to get all the equipment that I need. Samy's Camera. They're giving away a $500 gift certificate, so go to theslanted_lens.com. Check out how you can enter there. The $500 Samy's gift certificate will let you buy whatever you want on their website. So go to theslanted_lens.com where you can see how to enter. Well, you're still here? You haven't subscribed to the Slanted Lens yet? Get in there, subscribe to the Slanted Lens, get it done. Come on, things are getting hot around here.